It's time. It's Friday. This Friday, we need a little extra. There we go. That's perfect. Welcome to the Nutmeg Tavern. We are live, and I'm so happy to be here, and I'm glad you're here too. It's going to be a fun tavern. I got some great readings here and some fun stuff to talk about. But I'm not alone here in the Nutmeg Tavern. I have lots of people, and you're welcome in to find a virtual seat. But behind the bar is Ryan. There he is. Hi, Ryan.
Hello. My mic's not on yet.
He doesn't have his mic on. That's why he's not talking. Whatever a mic is, I don't know. But we'll let him go. And the behind the time vortex, making all the technical things happen, which I have no idea how that works. Aaron.
Hey everyone.
Wow.
Thanks for being here today.
The time vortex really sends a fuzzy picture.
It looks great. I think it looks good. As
the light waves flow through the vortex, it gets all fuzzy. So that's what's going on with that. Had a tremendous fun week. Spent a whole day out at the cabin the other day working on fix-up stuff. So that's going to be a future episode. And I'm really excited about it. Have we seen any of that footage?
I've looked at some of it, and it looks really good.
Good.
I'm not sure as to the release date yet, because there's a lot to go through.
Right.
But, yeah.
Big episode, and lots to cover in that. And it was, thankfully, the perfect weather for that. Finally, the weather broke here. The snow is starting to melt a little bit. Even though it's pretty warm, the snow's melting very slowly. So, lots of that to do, and that will be a episode coming up. So next episode is another Michael Dragoo episode. I'm excited to see how this one turns out.
You got your cord on your arm.
I have my cord on my arm. What is that?
There you go.
Michael was here last live stream, and his was was it Monday? Or was it Wednesday? No, it was the Wednesday episode that just came out with the shrimp. It was the shrimp one, right?
Shrimp steak.
Shrimp liquor.
That one was
Anyone?
Shrimp liquor.
Oh, no, anchovy.
No.
Yeah. We could make shrimp liquor, too, if we wanted to.
Anyway, that was so good. It was really good. And thank you, Michael, for bringing that episode. Do we get right to the topic? Do we need to cover anything else? Ryan.
Somebody's just sent in a super chat and said, Barkeep, I shall require warm rum and brown sugar.
Well, there you go.
Man. I don't know. You guys will get a little demanding and makes me want to go a little bit slower.
So apparently he's brought his own lemon juice. And
if you brought a lemon into my establishment, we're going to have words, sir.
This is like bringing your own drinks. We don't do that. Somebody's going to get mad. So let's talk about the kind of topic today. I'm, as usual, digging through the wonderful historical documents, printed books from the time period, and stumbled upon this really, and I've only just scratched the surface on this wonderful book from 1806. Actually, written in 1806, well, about travels in 1806, but he published in 1809. So Thomas Ashe was traveling in North America. He spent some time on the East Coast, but at the beginning of his book, he kind of says, I'm not even going to talk about the East Coast. Boring. I'm not going to talk about the South. No, I'm going to talk about what I think is the most important part of America right now, and that is what's happening in the middle part of the country, what's happening in Pennsylvania, and even more to the point, Ohio and Kentucky, and all the way down to Louisiana.
Let's just go ahead and throw Indiana in there for
I don't know
for
how
good
much.
measure.
I don't know. I haven't read that part of it yet.
I'm just assuming. Let's assume. Let's say.
And Indiana, because it's obviously the most important state.
Let's say they would have gone there.
You
they
better.
would have done that.
You're happy now? Anyway.
I'm feeling pretty happy.
He has some adventures, some fun. He takes a lot of time explaining things. Sometimes with these journals, they talk about things we don't actually care for them to talk about because they pertain to people in that time. And then other things boy, we wish we had more descriptions of that. But he spends some time here. He even describes sort of in like the Pittsburgh area, somewhere around there, he has a riverboat built. And then he talks about its design somewhat. And then he takes it down the Ohio River, the real river, not that other river. And
Yeah. What a fake river that other
right,
one
that other
is.
river would, fake river. But he travels down the Ohio, and he stops along the way and describes places. Here he talks about the Gallipolis, which is on the Ohio River in Ohio, on the Ohio side. And he stops by and visits that in July of 1806. And the story he lays out for this town is a really interesting and maybe rings true to us today, or at least stories we've heard. Gallipolis, being a French town and settlement which has made considerable noise in the world, I feel myself under a more immediate obligation to give you a correct and historical account of its rise, progress, and fall. A land speculator who explored this western country a few years ago took plans of the site of Gallipolis, surveyed 200,000 surrounding acres, and submitted his labors on parchment with all the embellishments of a draftsman and all the science of a topographer. The site for the town was represented as on a high plain of great extent and beauty, commanding views up and down and across the river for several miles. Eminences were, I like this part, eminences, high locations, were everywhere pointed out as eligible for the residence of the wealthy, and comfortable, secluded spots were marked for the retreat of the more humble and indigent. It's like, and we got the spot for the rich people, and we even have spots for poor people.
Hey, John.
Yes.
Somebody says they live there. It's pronounced Gallipolis.
There we go.
we
It's
go.
like in Indiana, we have a town called Brazel and Piru, and
And well, there's another one down there that in the same area.
there is Mexico.
Yeah, but there's one that's got a strange pronunciation from what you would guess, like Piru.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Exactly. Exactly. Anyway, so he skips a bunch. I'm going to skip a bunch here where he describes that. Thank you for chiming in there from the town of Gallipolis, if that's how you say it. Anyway, this person took all this survey of the town, or the idea of where this town should be. There's no town here yet. And, this survey and what he thinks is going to make this great sort of colony. And he goes to France, and he says, he starts to put forth this idea. He even gets a license to open a land office in France. Numerous emigrants were ready to repair to the extolled territory. Of these, a few of the most opulent, liberal, and enlightened combined and purchased the speculator's whole right and title, and established all his claim for 100,000 crowns, basically silver dollars. And of course assumed on themselves the disposition of the lands and the charge of settling them without any pecuniary advantage. A proceeding so honorable as this in the proprietors had the most auspicious effect. In a short time, 500 families, previously well situated, embarked with the proprietors for the United States, crossing the mountains and descended the river to the new possession, to the promised land, flowing with milk and honey, and abounding with all the necessities and luxuries of life. That's a pretty tall order.
This is a writer right here.
Yeah, he is. He's
About some embellishment.
this guy does a great job of it.
Man.
1/3 on the third, or I'm again skipping ahead. Some people settled right in the spot and started to set up a town. A third of the settlers retired into the back country, and who did not suffer. And those who did not suffer death after 2 years. It's like, okay. They came in and reported that the meadows and good lands they went in search of proved no more than swampy intervals between mountains where no man could exist, and that the mill seats and waterfalls, because he said, there was these great places for mills, the mill seats and waterfalls were dry except during the dissolution of the winter snows, which could only be calculated on for a short period of about 3 weeks in the year. In other words, that's not going to work for a consistent mill thing. So they kind of fell back, and some of the people abandoned the idea. It's like, no, this isn't so great. So they went back east, or maybe even all the way back to France. On the fourth year, but some people stayed around. On the fourth year, at a time when affairs were progressing, and improvement going on with as much vigor as could be expected from the emaciated mechanics and effeminate shopkeepers, a person arrived in the colony claiming it as his own and stated that a man who sold him the property in France was an imposter. To a people already under a suffering and disappointment, this was a dreadful blow that could not be averted. So not only was it not what they were told it was, they didn't even buy it from the real owner. Oh man,
and he's long gone.
Yeah, and they've never seen him again.
He's got full pockets.
He's still in France with lots of money. So a lot of people gave up at that point. Apparently, Congress came in though and made a proposition that they could repurchase, they could buy the land again, basically, or they would.
Who?
Yeah, thanks. Some of them didn't like that idea. Some of them stayed on. So after that, we find out that even after the ones even when they paid again, it turned out that there were these sort of fetid swamp areas that were too close to the town. It says, for the ponds lying behind and near the town, which often infected the air and were predisposed to fever and ague, even from the commencement of the settlement. But on the 5th year, they became so contagious that many died. And that really just totally, I mean, the third, stick in the spokes of your bicycle, it's really, really bad. And some people, so they even more gave up. And it was a wretched place. By the time he got there, it was totally in collapse. I think he says something like there's 9 houses left out of 500 families. So really, really bad. But apparently here, and I don't know exactly where this part is. It says Maysville, Limestone, Kentucky. It says, the place where I landed is a tract of land of 20,000 acres extending 8 miles on the river, granted by Congress to the unfortunate settlers as some indemnification for the losses and injuries they had sustained. That's the original settlers at Gallipolis. And so it's a little better than the other location, a better health, apparently even better land. The people that were there did not care for farming at all, but this is what they ended up doing. And this will sound familiar, Ryan. This isn't probably that far from Louisville, right? In that southern Indiana area. The management of peach orchard suits their talents and habits, and these they bring to profit and perfection. There are here 2 peach distilleries at work that vend about 3,000 gallons of peach brandy, the amount of which furnishes the settlement with coffee, snuff, knives, tinware, and other small articles in demand among the French immigrants. I found the women constantly occupied in making an excellent strong cotton cloth, blue, for the men, and party-colored, I don't know what party-colored is, but party-colored for themselves and children. I took a walk down the entire settlement and was much pleased with the simple and primitive manner of its residents. The day is passed in the coarser industry, the evening, sitting in the house or under the most adjacent shade, the women spinning, sewing, and knitting, the men making and repairing their nets, gins, traps, and the children playing around and instructing their pet animals. And he actually goes on to talk about them having these pet animals and tame deer and raccoons and possums and groundhogs and all this. Like, well, okay, this is really weird. So that's the first part of this story. And I've got a second part of his later travels, but maybe we should touch base with Ryan. Do I have anything to touch base with, or should I just keep going?
No, that's fine. We got some super chats we could talk about. Sonia is in here, says, enjoying a cup of tea in my new Townsends mug, loving it, and your channel. Cheers to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nenanamu, I think. Nenanamumu.
Okay.
When did the 1700s Danny DeVito? Because history? I have no idea what that is.
Okay.
Well,
All
I
right.
can answer that one.
Yeah?
No.
All right. Russ, my Seafoam and White Tavern mug showed up today, and it's fabulous. Here's a tip for the bartender. Share some with the guy that talks a lot, too.
Thank you.
That might give something. A little something.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of new Townsends members on YouTube.
Yes.
Another in, it looks like Matrix. It's in super chat. Where and when did nasal snuff tobacco originate from, and how prevalent was it as opposed to smoke or chew?
Ryan would touch base on that more than I do. And I don't know that we dug so deep in that we can give you a solid answer.
Yeah, well, I don't know about the origination.
Yeah, exactly.
I have no idea. As far as its prevalency, it was huge.
Yeah.
And I mean, I read more about snuffing than I do any other tobacco use in the time period, actually. So I don't.
And even somebody like Martha Washington.
Yeah, well, I think, and maybe that was the big thing, is that it was it went across genders more than smoking did, from what I can tell.
Right.
So it was very popular. And that catches us up.
Okay, good. Caught up.
But speaking of those mugs, I did check to see if there were any in stock. I can't see the numbers from where I'm at, but I do know that there's at least one of each color. So here's the link to the mugs. And you
Great.
can talk about them some, John.
Right. So we do have, I don't know if I have the other one here. There was black with blue, a black body with the blue kind of foamy cover, whatever you call it. You got one? No, not really. Anyway, beautiful. We call it Caribbean Abyss. But this is the Seafoam Green, which I just think is fabulous. And this has instead of the boar's head, it's actually got the Nutmeg Traders logo with the ship and the flag that has a little nutmeg on it. This is actually an actual image of the ship we use to transport our nutmeg. Anyway.
God. A couple more super chats are coming in right now. Nana Mumu became the homestead again. So, all right. Speed and Style Tony, I am drinking a chai latte. Ooh. Well, keep your pinky up. In my new Nutmeg Traders mug. Added nutmeg to it. So that counts. Yeah, of course it does. Nutmeg's in there.
100%.
Heather, party colored means color blocked or multicolored.
There we
go.
Like calico.
Sure. Yeah. There we go.
Except calico in the time period didn't mean that. So, yes, multicolored, yes.
Hey, real quick, there's something that I need to address.
Uh-oh.
There's only 450 likes, and we got about 1,000 people in here. So I think we got some work
That's
to
serious.
do. But for real, the likes really
like
help with the algorithm, and it helps us out, and we really appreciate it.
Just go down there. It only takes a second.
Just 1 second. Maybe even less, if you're quick.
David Dinelli is in Super Chat. I'm sure that he wants you to hit the like button, too.
Oh, yeah.
Are there accounts of people headed out to the frontier and just never hearing from them again? Did anyone keep track of people headed west?
I don't know that they ever wrote back, so, that's a problem. They never come back to talk about that. So, you just kind of hear about it like this, that is like they go out and they disappear. People aren't really as connected with that sort of. The communication isn't the same. It's not like they've got 18th century Facebook. So it's, somebody leaves for the frontier, and whether they live or don't live, you might not ever hear from them again. So you don't see too many references to the actual, Joe left and we're pretty sure he died. You don't hear about it. So they just kind of go off into the void.
So, Roan Crane is in here. Glad to catch you live. I would love to request a discussion sometime about spring festivals, celebrations, or observations in the time period.
Spring festivals.
Ready Squirrel says the Townsend crew rocks.
Thank you.
I don't think there's a truer statement ever uttered.
Probably not.
Keltoid5 is in Super Chat. Noticed in the new calendar that coffee eggs are listed as a favorite. Is that true? Well, I made the calendar, and they are one of my favorites.
One of his favorites? I mean, you don't see me making them every day, but...
I took a little liberty there, baby.
It's definitely one of our favorite videos, I'd say.
Yeah.
There you go.
It did well. People that try it like it, and they're surprised by it. So.
Yeah.
David Willis is in Super Chat. Can you do more episodes on the colors and fibers of past textiles, as well as gardening, food for home use?
Well, that's a tall order, folks. Here we go.
We've got these things written down with stars beside them. We just gotta find the right people to help us out.
A lot to talk about.
Coin for The Witcher. You are working hard today. That's from Matthew H.
Thank you, Matthew H.
Keeping
It's been
that.
a tough day.
He's working behind the scenes. A lot to happen there, and it's not the super famous job that everybody else has, but it's very important.
But it might be the most important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Chad Bennett is in Super Chat, and he sends a donation with nothing to say about it.
Well, thank you.
Nathan, where'd you go, Nathan? Yeah, Nathan, there you are. Can you do an episode on natural disasters in the time period? That'd be super interesting.
Yeah, that would be.
And we've talked a little bit about those in times past. Natural disasters. There's a lot of them. Yeah, in that almanac, there was that list of, it's like, they had earthquakes and, yep. I know just where to go. Bye, Aaron. See ya. Bye.
What just happened?
I'm back.
All right, we got somebody else. Pickle jars. Just ordered seafoam mug for the collection. Thanks. Thank you. That's one of my favorite colors we've ever had.
Yes.
All right, I think, John, we're safe to get back into some there's another super chat. We'll catch back up.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Good. So, obviously, he has this huge trip, and in this one, he's just giving a history of the place. He isn't really telling you anything about, I visited there and I walked down the street and I tripped on a rock. But in some parts of the book, he does do that, and there's a section where he is taking a journey. He stopped at the river someplace. I can't remember which town he stopped at. But he stopped to do a trip inland to go to Lexington, Kentucky. And he said here, and I don't think I have that part of it written, in 1806, he says that Lexington is the largest inland community in the United States.
Really?
In 1806. Can you imagine?
Wow.
Anyway.
No, that blows my mind.
Yeah, I was like, okay. So, he's taking like a week-long trip to go from the river to Lexington, Kentucky on horse. He says, yeah, he was talking about how part of his trip he's been relying on other people's travel works and their descriptions of where he was going. And then he says, as he's going, nothing like a plane did I see the whole day, save what I noticed in the morning or any other prospect whatsoever, than one mighty scene of endless mountains covered with ponderous and gloomy wood. I did not even meet with so much as an interval of land as could suffice a single farm, and had I not refreshed at Blue Licks, because he stopped at Blue Licks, Kentucky, I might have fasted till my arrival at town. And yet, that part of the country is described by Imlay and others as a lawn producing shrubs and flowers and fit for the abode of gods instead of men. Had such writers been aware that their romance might occasion miseries in real life, I am willing to think that they would have controlled the fancy which had produced it. Yeah, he wasn't very...
This guy thinks he's Dickens.
Yeah.
It's
What can I
nuts.
say? After passing the night very uncomfortably at Middleburg, at a complete Kentucky inn, I next morning set out and rode to Paris, which was but 8 miles from Millersburg to breakfast. So he sets out early. He wants to eat breakfast in Paris, Kentucky. I arrived at Paris so early an hour that few of the family were stirring, and no breakfast appeared likely to be had for some time. This reminded me of a very disagreeable custom prevailing all through America. No individual traveler can breakfast, dinner, or supper at times of his own choosing. He must wait for the family hours until all the strangers have assembled and sit down together. Those who arrive after this species of public breakfast have to wait for dinner, and as such, miss the dinner hour, must fast till night. They have other customs calculated also to annoy. For instance, on entering the Paris Inn, I expressed a wish to have a breakfast as soon as possible, as I had to reach Lexington at dinner. And to expedite the breakfast, I begged to have nothing prepared but tea or coffee. These instructions availed me nothing. Children were dispatched after fowls, which took to the gardens and the fields in vain to prolong their minutes, which were numbered. They were caught and plucked and put to the fire, part of which was previously occupied baking bread and frying ham, etc., etc. After the expiration of 2 hours, a table was set out with knives, forks, pickles, etc., etc., covered with several dishes of cold and hot meat, while the tea was held at a distance to be handed at intervals for drink. Drink only. I made my breakfast on tea and hot, heavy bricks, and could not resist telling the landlady that she could have spared herself much trouble and given me much time had she just made a cup of tea in the first instance. She observed that might be, but that she was always used to do what she had done and altered her ways for nobody. The customer is always right.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And after that, he pays his money. He throws down a silver dollar. And of course, that's a lot of money in the time period. He doesn't have small change. This is the first time I've ever read this particular kind of thing going out, but this is firsthand from a traveler. To cut out her charge of 1 shilling and 6 for my dinner and 9 for my horse, a man did this with great dexterity and returned the dollar to me nearly 1/4 cut out, with an angle running to the middle, which gave it the appearance of 3/4 of a circle, like a pie with a piece cut out. Learning that this was the legal mode of procuring change, I got the same dexterous person to transform a couple more dollars with his chisel into quarters and 8s and 16ths. I haven't heard of that before. He executed that service in a few moments. So she just pitched the coin over to a man, and he made the change right there with a chisel and a hammer. Pretty cool. I've read about, it's like, oh, pieces of 8, they did this. But, it's one thing reading somebody telling you that they did this. It's another when saying, I was on a trip and this is what happened.
I've got a bunch that have stacked up in here. Do you want to go for it?
No, that was my finish of this beyond just chatting about it.
I would like to say that it looks like John and Maggie and Rick and Hillary are both in the chat talking to people right now, which is really exciting.
Full house. In the tavern.
The Townsends Crew Rocks read that, but I wanted to read it again. We said natural disasters, right?
Yep.
Yes, got that.
Okay, do you have any? This is from Dark Rose. Do you have any suggestions for good references on what was most commonly grown in the kitchen gardens on the homestead?
There are some gardening books of the time period, both English and North American. I don't have any of those off the top of my head. That's a deep topic in and of itself, but those resources are there. We also have references to advertisements where grocers and other people that are running stores are talking about the kinds of seeds that they have available. A midwife's tale, she sometimes goes into what she's planting in her garden. So there are some great references to that. And I think you will even find in Matthew Patton's diary some references to those kinds of things.
Somebody in the chat says, I wonder how many of these places that he's visiting are still in existence. Have you wondered that, John?
Yes. And, I think there are even in our neck of the woods some towns that have sort of disappeared, that were there 50 years ago, and now they're just like two houses across from each other. So there are some towns like that you'll go through in Indiana that were thriving at one time and just sort of up and blow away. And part of that is sort of the consolidation having to do with where transport things happen. So in Indiana, the oldest cities are along rivers, and then the next oldest ones are along railroad tracks. And when they take out a railroad track, the town definitely disappears. And if a town isn't on a highway now, I mean, it's not a town. So there are a lot of situations like that where transport routes have changed and the towns just disappear. And like the original one where he said, that town, well, even now it's very, very tiny. And, it had gone from very, very large to almost gone in 1806.
Do you have an inkling as to what the population of the U.S. was at this time?
I had some numbers on population that I read a couple of weeks ago. That was early. That was like 1860 or 1760s. I don't have any numbers off the top of my head, of course, for 1806, but
somebody put in the chat, does Kentucky have any city names that reflect that situation? I don't know what that meant. Does that mean anything to you?
Reflect that situation.
Yeah. I thought maybe I missed something that you read.
Yeah, I don't.
No, nothing. Okay. So Mark says, hit the bloody like button. Snuff said. Snuff said.
Oh.
And how we doing on likes, Aaron? We getting there?
We're getting real close.
Nice.
We're about 150 away from 1,000. I know we can do it.
You know it.
I know it.
Plain Jane asked if there's a sea shanties episode coming, and I saw Hillary from Rick and Hillary comment that they are interested in that. So absolutely not.
Let's
we will
talk.
not do that episode.
Rick and Hillary.
Yeah, that'd be fun, wouldn't it?
As long as I don't have to sing.
You can do all the dances. Nice or cool. Enjoying a hot drink of dark sugar, mashed lemon wedges, and loads of nutmeg in my giant Townsends salt-glazed tankard. Dang. That sounds like a time.
It is.
Nana Nana Moo Moo. Again, when Nana Nana Moo Moo lived in 1700, she used to drink No Old Baby. That was what they were about because Nana Nana Moo Moo got Mug Happy Homestead. I think somebody is giving me a hard time.
Is No Old Baby a drink now? Maybe we need to come up with that.
I don't know.
We have the special Nutmeg Tavern drink we're working on.
We still need to. I think people were expecting us to do shots of anchovy liquor.
Whoa! No.
Vic is in there. What year is it at the Nutmeg Tavern?
Well, with this outfit, it is 1806.
Yeah. Spinning the Past is a super chat. I love your redware. I use your pie plates as dinner plates.
Wow.
Where is it made? Is redware exclusive to Indiana? How common was redware in the 18th century?
So the redware that we sell, most of it is made right here, not on location, but a few miles away at the Potter's location. We also get a few pieces from out east, so we got multiple Potters on that. Actually, we have several different Potters, but redware mostly comes out of Warsaw. Redware in the time period is not Indiana. It is the classic, cheapest, local kind of pottery. So there are certain kinds of pottery in the time period that were very high end, that would be transported for hundreds of miles, thousands of miles. In fact, the highest quality stuff in the time period and the most sought after was the porcelain pieces, and especially early in the 18th century, they were transported all the way from China and Japan and brought into England and then transported to North America. But they started producing their own porcelain wares. Those are the expensive ones. Those are the ones that are white with blue and hand decorated high-end pieces. But redware pieces, so that's the kind of pottery that is low fire and it's much easier to produce. You produce it with local clays, and it's not really meant to be transported any great distance at all. So most of the earthenwares, some were transported a long distance, but most of the time it was kind of a local ware and kind of stayed within the 10-mile radius of the potter. So it's the local piece that you would go. Very simple designs, and it breaks very easily. So it's sort of almost replaceable like Tupperware. It's like, well, it's not good anymore. Throw it out, get another one. Happens all the time. Very, very disposable. In fact, some food things came in ceramic vessels that would be made by the hundreds, and you would almost treat it like a glass jar that you would get food in at the store. It's like, oh, it's empty. Throw it out. So that's what redware is like in the time period. Low, kind of low quality and cheap.
Follow Dreams is in the chat. They said they're watching from Sweden.
Yes.
And they like our work.
Thank you.
And they're also wondering about Swedish recipes.
Yeah.
Now, I know we did that project that one time.
Yes.
Do you remember which recipes?
One was the mint. The only one we'd done with mint in it, like it had mint toast or something.
The mint toast.
And there was another one about that time period. I think we did two.
We did.
Some very generous person there in Sweden did some translation for us on a piece from the time period. So we got a couple of different recipes. I can't remember what the other one was.
If you find the mint one, look within a month, probably, either way, and you'll find the other one.
Yes.
Okay, so Colin K says, my friend Matt hasn't been keeping up with your videos.
What?
Please express your disappointment so I can guilt him into coming back.
We do a lot of work, and we do a lot of effort on our videos.
A lot of passion and blood, sweat, and tears.
Truly, energy and all our creative forces poured into this. And some people, they don't realize how incredible much work we put into it.
Until this moment, I'd never met a Matt that wasn't the best person that I'd ever met. Every Matt is better than the next.
This whole thing makes me sad. Maybe we should move on.
I don't even want to finish the live stream.
Okay.
Wow.
That's enough of that. Work. I don't know what's going to.
We
buddy.
tried.
He can watch whenever he wants.
Matrix. How treacherous was navigating the Cumberland Gap for early pioneers?
I wish I had specific information on that, but it's bad.
Yeah.
You're in very, very tough terrain. The roads weren't roads, they were just tracks. And in some places it was just hard to even get your pack horse. You weren't riding a horse, you would be walking, you'd have a pack horse in some locations. So tough traveling. In that time period when it's first really, being explored, being, kind of populated, 1770s up into, 1790s.
People are giving Matt some real trouble in the chat right now.
Sorry, Matt.
SK, how many splinters do you end up with at the cabin?
Aaron got a splinter the other day. It was in
the
the
office.
office.
In the cabin? Yeah, it was in the office.
For all the very, very rough. I mean, the cabin couldn't be rougher.
Right.
I don't think I've ever gotten a splinter.
I don't think so either. And you know what? I'd take 20 a day. When you're using an axe and a draw knife and all that good sauce,
No.
give me all the splinters you want to. Just
I have gotten sand and clay jammed up underneath my fingernails and certain, when you're really working and your hands are cold and all that, but not splinters.
nope.
Hey, we made it to 1,000, everyone.
Yay!
Thank you.
Hopefully
Appreciate it.
Matt was one of the people that
Had to have been.
hit that button.
Did people drink is CACAO?
Cocoa.
Cocoa? Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. Did people drink cocoa in the 18th century colonies? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
loved
very popular, and it was one of those right up there. Tea, coffee, hot chocolate, right? Same thing. Those are all breakfast things, and I'm thinking maybe they mixed them together too, but that's for another day.
So History with Brad's in here on Super
Hey,
Chat. Says,
History with
long
Brad.
time no see. How is
Yeah.
everyone?
You mean he's not been here either? What is going on?
Yeah. Brad, do we need to do a Matt again? Everything is going well, Brad. We're busy, and it's good kind of busy. I hope you are too.
Yes.
And we're talking about Louisville today, so that fits right into you.
There you go.
John Talley, I read that Simon Kenton was looking for cane fields in Kentucky, and he found them.
Yeah.
What were the cane fields, and are they still there?
I don't know. What do you think about that? That
Jeez,
last
I don't
answer.
know.
Yes, I would say cane breaks, cane fields, giant, tall, thick grass. I mean, they had a lot of that. That's why it's called Kentucky, because of these giant cane breaks that held a lot of game, but were very difficult to get through. I mean, it's sort of like you're going through a tunnel. You make your way through, but everything is taller than you are. Maybe even when you're on a horse, I don't know. So it's very difficult to see where you're going. Sort of like, yeah. So yeah, I don't know about modern parts of that. Maybe there's only just a little bit of that. I have no idea. That's a really good question.
I see more of that kind of up here than I do down there.
Yeah,
So.
true.
Pandaroni Gaming sends in a donation on Super Chat with no comment.
Thank you.
Joker 55, I think, is what that comes out to. Thanks for the mug. It's fantastic and holds hot and cold drinks very well.
Oh yeah.
The fourth J sends in Super Chat with no remarks. Elizabeth says, any plans to do an Irish dish for the time period for St. Patrick's Day? You guys pay a lot more attention to calendars than we do.
Yeah,
We can barely keep up Irish.
it's still January, right?
I think so.
It was, what crap, I already forgot. What day is Valentine's Day? Is that the 14th of February?
Of February, yeah.
I was
What do
sitting
you got?
down, I was talking to Caleb on the phone on February 13th, and he's like, yeah, just preparing some stuff for Valentine's Day tomorrow, and I just stopped.
It's like, what are you
Oh,
talking
crap. I ran out.
I was going to see what you guys were going to do for New Year's, but apparently that happened.
Yeah. John was just talking about April Fool's Day, and I forgot all about that one, too.
Yeah.
All right. Nana Nana Moo Moo asks,
Yeah, wait till you read this one.
when did Kentucky gain Danny DeVito independence against Mexico? Or was it Russia? Nana Nana Moo Moo's tainted brain need to know. It's frowny face USA.
I think they've been in the tavern a little too long. Maybe you want to cut them off?
Listen, if they're paying, I'll serve them. They're not going to be driving home. So. Noah, thanks so much for everything you do. Well, Noah, thanks for noticing. GG is in Super Chat. Have you visited Kentucky rural mountain folk for cooking styles recipes? How do they compare to your channel recipes?
Well, I don't know. No, not kind of like that. Although we have spent a little time with. I'm trying to think of his name. But anyway.
I don't know what you mean from me. I'm sorry.
my brain is empty, and so is his. But yes, we've spent some time in Kentucky, but not on the sort of cooking level.
Yeah, okay. Yes. Mountain Man.
Well,
review.
except we did do cooking episodes down at Louisville.
Yeah, I mean, but But that's not mountain.
Yes, that's
not
true.
Mountain. That's
too true.
That's
See,
my trouble. It's like
sticking,
when I've lived there, I've never lived in the eastern part of the state. So mountain
go.
people, I don't know what to say about that.
Yep.
Mountain Man Reviews. I live close to the Cumberland Gap and not far from the Halls Gap. The flat Kentucky stories in school killed me. Jaji, once all the smoke clears, I would love to see an in-person collaboration between Townsends, Alton Brown, another nutmeg addict, and Max Miller. Man, that'd be some
that would break the internet.
Man. Pandoronic Gaming. Love all your content. Great content. Interesting to see the old recipes and history. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Mitch, hi. Would you consider craft anything in 1/12 scale miniature for collectors like I am?
Do it again. Say it again. What?
Would you consider crafting anything on 1/12 miniatures for collectors like him?
Oh, I would have to craft something in scale?
That would be scary.
It's hard enough to do what we do.
We talked about Aaron. What video was that you had that idea for? Like a miniature of a fort or something like that.
Oh yeah, I mean
diorama.
it'd be like footage of a diorama.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
It'd be a fun
big
project,
project,
but
yeah.
man, it would be difficult.
We'd have to use it for a lot of videos.
The fourth J sent in a donation without anything to say.
Thank you.
That's very kind when you folks do that.
Yes.
And that catches us up. Oh, it almost did. I just saw another super chat come in. Oh, it's from Nana Nana Moo Moo.
Oh, boy.
There are people in Nana Nana Moo Moo's computer.
Oh.
Nana.
Nana Nana Moo Moo.
We're so sorry.
Yeah,
I'm glad Nana's here.
I am too.
So, let's talk about Patreon.
Let's do it.
Every week, I try to get to the brand new Patreon, folks. Patreon's one of those ways that people help support what we do on the channel by sort of a subscription. So it's but they get sort of to choose the amount. Now, last week I announced that we were at 999. Well, we broke 1,000. And number 1,000, Mossy Log. Thank you, Mossy Log, for being
Wow.
number 1,000. And John Layer, I think is his name. He thought he might have been 1,000, but you know what? You're not 1,000, but you're more important, 1,001.
Oh,
right?
took us over.
There you go.
Look at that.
Yes. So the other ones, DJ Gonzalez, Chet Sanders, Patty Fagan Miller, Ian McNeely, Carol Howell, Lisa Kilmer, Hillary Amon, Joseph Hammonds, Noella McClanahan Broughton, Sarah O'Connor, David Marcus, or it could be pronounced different ways, but Timothy Bradley, Amy Abnett, somebody that's just Bart, and Pat Emery. Those are the brand new Patreon people, and that is such an amazing thank you way to help us do what we do. And we are, even right now, tooling up to do more. And, and we have some amazing plans right around the corner. And you guys are help make this kind of thing possible.
Yeah, that's exciting. Russ is in the super chat. I saw the surf and turf. It looks delicious. Please help me understand when Michael is referred to Boonesboro. Does he mean Maryland or Kentucky?
Kentucky.
The KY. Pickle jars for Hillary. Gordon Ramsay, break out the dueling pistols, sir. You gonna take that heat, John? Go head to head
It's
with.
been a long time since I've got out the dueling pistols.
Been a while since you dueled.
Yeah, I'll have to sharpen my flints.
Man. Yeah, you don't want those flints to disappoint. Patty sends in the super chat. I just really yelled in that
Yeah.
mic. Sorry. I got excited. Patty sent in the super chat without a comment.
Thank you.
The fourth J. Are you guys ever going to make bricks again? If so, are you planning on stepping up the kiln oven?
Yeah, well, wow. Those projects are very, very time consuming, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Whether we need a lot more bricks or not.
Erin Howitt is in Super Chat. I'm assuming she's going to say something about Ohio because we talked about it a lot today. Popping in to say thanks for a wonderful start to the weekend. After all of this talk of Ohio, bing, 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 I'm off to go eat some Cincinnati chili. Want some, Ryan? I figured it was going to come up.
That's not chili.
I wish you the best. I hope you have a wonderful time. I really do. I'm not going to come with. And you don't even have to mail me a cup. But please have a wonderful time. All right, I think that catches us up here. I'm going to drop the link for those mugs one more time because people have been grabbing them and really excited about them. Thank you so much. We've sent a lot of those out the door in the last few weeks.
Did you see whether we had any of the Boar's Head ones left or not?
Well, they're all just
they're all there.
There was some of every one of them
Good.
in stock.
Good. I'm so glad that there's. We finally had a lot of trouble getting enough of the mugs, and we were hoping to have some for Christmas, but this year, last year. This year's different, right? Last year, it was a little difficult to get what we needed, but this year we got a nice big shipment, so that it was, everybody gets to have one. So I'm excited about that.
Taco Lover is in Super Chat. Says, Grog? Well, don't mind if I do.
Mm-hmm. We could play that Grog episode again. I'll have to watch that over again.
Yeah, I like that episode a lot. You did a good job with that one. Because that was like, hey, John, we're going to talk about this. Go.
I think Aaron did the good job of turning me into something that, it's like, hey, John, talk a while, and then it's like, cut. Oh, a good episode comes out of it.
It turned out good, considering it was just mixing water and rum.
Aaron, can you please speak on being a YouTube member?
Yeah. So there's a join button. It's blue. It's kind of by the dislike button. Well, no, we won't even mention the dislike button. It's by the like button.
By the like button.
You hit that, and you can join the Nutmeg Tavern members. It's just a little way to support us every month. You get custom emojis. You get a badge by your name. The longer you're a member, your badge changes and kind of upgrades. And there are a few people who are getting close to that 1 year badge, which is going to be pretty cool to see. So yeah, it's just a way to support us and a fun way to have fun. You can use the emojis in live stream or regular comments on our videos, and it shows up on our videos, and that's what it is.
Just like Patreon, it's a way to be part of our team.
Yep.
That helps create content.
Absolutely.
So here's a doozy. You ready, John?
Yeah.
Midwest Minuteman.
Yes.
This year will be my 20th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
Would you consider allowing us to come to the tavern to renew our vows? We love your channel. Only if I get to officiate.
Well, the hard thing here is that what we have here is a virtual tavern. This is a tavern that is everywhere and nowhere. And I don't know if we could fit 2 more people in the physical tavern because it's not very big.
It's pretty packed as is.
Yeah, but wow, 20 years.
Yes.
That's awesome.
That is.
I haven't made it there. I'm looking forward to it. Congratulations. Yeah. And thank you for thinking of us. Angel Lewis, shout out to Caleb on his engagement.
Yeah,
that's
Caleb.
right.
What?
One of our new buddies shooting video with Aaron. He just got engaged.
Yeah.
Shh, it's a secret.
Apparently not.
Mountain Man Reviews, KY, Kentucky, has a lot of caves. Any period books on it in your knowledge?
Not books specifically, but there's, there probably are, not that I know of specifically. But the natural history, it seems like the travelers going through Kentucky like to talk about those things a lot. And even in this case, there was a great story in Ashett's Travels where he talks about going to, I think it was Blue Licks, and he says, to dig around, they were digging around in there trying to get more salt or whatever, and they were bringing out giant bones. He said, they were digging out this one bone. It took 4 or 6 people to haul it out. And it turned out to be a giant mastodon tusk. And it laid there for a while, and then someone broke it up into pieces because they wanted to know what it was made of. He was a little upset by that.
Yeah.
Because I think he wanted to see that giant mastodon tusk. So you'll see Cresswell talks about the giant bones coming up, and other travelers are talking about the caves and other sort of Kentucky natural wonders that there truly are. It's an amazing place. Amazing place.
We've got a lot of these to get through quickly. So, John, my man John Talley is in here. There should be no pasta or cheese and chili. I live near Cincinnati, and I've tried the stuff. I like that he calls it the stuff. My wife loves it. It saddens me. John, I think you and I could get along. The funny thing is I'm not a huge chili fan anyways. Bob Oak. This is the weirdest episode of Outlander ever, but I'm really enjoying it. That's good. Mike, here's something for the time vortex. Thanks for helping us traveling through history. Have a great weekend, everyone, and nutmeg responsibly. Yes. Always. Daniel, can I get a shout out for Aisha and Aaron, my young friend, and A-Bomb 3601 would be the most appreciative.
Aisha, Aaron, welcome. What do I say?
Yeah, that's a shout out right there. Cindy, can you see the tavern mug and toddy rod for more than one beverage? Oh, I'm sorry. Can you season the tavern mug and toddy rod from more than one beverage? My mug said to season and use it for one type of beverage. That must be the pewter mug.
Yeah, that's the pewter mug. And if they're like at all, then it will work out just fine. If they're very, very different things, sort of like, oh, I'm going to drink some carbonated beverage and then milk. No, that's not going to work out so well. Toddy rod, I don't think is nearly as much trouble since it gets heated up, and then then you're not going to have any problem with that at all.
Yeah. All right, Matt is in here. Matt Siff, is there a recipe that you have come across that made you scratch your head until you cooked it? Sure. Until you cooked it.
Watch Monday. No. Yeah, there are definitely some head scratchers in there, and sometimes, I think coffee eggs was one of those. We didn't know what it was going to be until we made it, and there are other ones like that.
The little creme brulees were like that too. Every step of the way, I was like, what the heck is happening here? Matrix again, yeah. When did ice fishing become a thing? That's funny.
That is hilarious.
It is easy to believe that it was originally done out of desperation for food rather than for leisure.
Yeah, this is a question that we've been asking. We asked ourselves multiple times in the past 2 weeks, and it's talked about in the office. You don't want to be there for our office conversations because they go everywhere. But the ice fishing is one that's going to take a lot of research and to find period references. I don't know that it's a thing that's happening in the 18th century within our context. Obviously, other places in the world, yes. But is it happening in North America? I have not found references. They were out skating on those frozen lakes, but I haven't seen anybody chipping holes in there and fishing.
Susan sent a celebratory dancing pair. Thank you very much for that. This is the last super chat that I'm going to have time to read today. This is from Artwims Wolf? I'm not sure how to say that. How about a video on Bardstown, Kentucky? It's the bourbon capital of the world. Has my old Kentucky home where the state sun was made and the house preserved, and the old Talbot Tavern that Lincoln visited. Yeah. May I? Sorry. I was just thinking about that because I was just there. We went to Maker's Mark not too long ago. I love that place. But, yeah, I don't know.
We have to look it up and see what kind of 18th century history you can talk about.
Yeah, that's the hard part. It's kind of, most of that stuff's happening pretty later, but some of that's in there. All right.
There we go.
That's it for me.
We did it. It's going to be the weekend. It is the weekend. This event right here is that notch where we go from horrible work week to wonderful weekend. No, it isn't that bad. It isn't that bad. But here we are. We're ready to close up. But you know, it is always an incredible time to come into the Nutmeg Tavern. I always go home excited. It's like, woo, we had a lot of fun in the tavern. So thank you guys for being here on this Nutmeg Tavern and being part of the atmosphere and you can almost hear the murmur of the crowd in the tavern here. They can see it, I can't. But thank you so much for your incredible support for what we do here on the channel, being part of this Nutmeg Tavern, being part of what we do either on Patreon or watching our videos or membership or all those different kinds of things, buying the merch, all those things. Every one of those creates the ability for us to make more videos and bring more history to light. There's all this hidden history that is so much fun to bring out, and you help make that happen. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Ryan. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for watching.